Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing awesome. So today we are diving into super important like your API design. Yes. So whether you are a beginner or already working on projects or building applications, so understanding an API design is your key to building scalable applications. Okay. So let me give an example when you buy something online, so behind the scene an API makes it happen. So have you ever wondered how these APIs are designed? So in this particular video we'll talk about what is the exact way or the standard to design an API. So let's start with the video. I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So today we'll talk about the API design. Okay. So what is an API? The first question. API is your application programming interface. Everyone knows this. A small, I would say, the full form. Okay. So what it does basically, API enables your two software components to communicate with each other using a set of definitions and protocols. Like whenever, okay, let's understand with the help of this example. Like whenever you send a request, basically, or you can say like API is a messenger between your client and server. Like whenever you want, you send some request from your client to the server. Like client could be your browser and anything from where you are sending a request, then request goes to the your server, and then server further communicate with the database server that is deployed on somewhere else, and then it gets that data and just return back to the server, and then server return back to the client. So API is responsible for sending the request from client to the server, and taking back the response from server and give to the client. Okay. So what are the types of APIs? So generally we used like your REST, which is based on your HTTP standards we use most of the time. And then another one is your GraphQL. So GraphQL is basically the amount of data exactly what is required by the client. So client sent a request to the server. So what it does, it basically avoids your underfetching and overfetching. So for that we use the GraphQL. And RPC is your remote procedural call. We already have an entire playlist on gRPC on our this channel. You can go and check it out. I attach the uh, link for that particular playlist in the description, so you can go and check it out. RPC is for your efficient inter microservice communication we use for the uh, efficiently you can communicate with your services. Okay. So and inside RPC we generally used methods. If you remember, like we defined contracts and methods rather than just making a call with the API. We generally call the methods. Okay. So let's talk about the REST first. So here inside REST, okay, the very most important thing whenever you are designing, so always give a plural nouns. Okay, not give singular, not product. This must be your products. Okay, so let's understand whenever you are making the get, and these are your HTTP verbs, or I can say the methods, as you can see here, the very first is like get slash products, which means get all the products, and here products is a collection. Okay, now if you want one specific like product, then you have to create an endpoint or an API slash product slash ID, which means from the products collection I want this specific product. Okay, then suppose I have a categories, that is also a collection, and I'm passing ID. Get a specific category from the collection, category collection. Okay, now if you are sending products slash ID slash reviews, like inside products fetch the particular product I have, I'm passing the ID of that, and after that reviews, get reviews for a product. what are the reviews for that particular product. Okay, just read the next one. I'm having lemon tea. So next is post products, then slash id slash orders. Create a new order for a product. Like for this product, I want to create a order. Okay, I want to create an order for this particular product. So the next is your get orders slash id, get a specific order, makes sense. And one more thing, don't we don't write product slash create. Okay, notice that we avoid verbs in our endpoints. We never use the verbs inside your endpoints. Like if I'm creating the endpoint, suppose I have to create a product or an order, so I'll never write inside your url or the endpoint like slash create order slash create product. No, the http method itself describe the action, like post get. As you can read here, notice that we avoid verbs in our endpoints. For instance, we don't write products slash create. The HTTP method itself describes the action. Are you getting that? We don't need this. Okay. So next are these our HTTP methods or the verbs. We have like your get, post, put, patch, delete. Okay. So get is for retrieving the data or fetching the data. We make a get request. Then we have a post for creation, like creating anything. Then we have put, which is your idempotent, and post is your not idempotent. And put is basically when you want to update or replace the things for that particular state, or I would say the product and or an order. So like how post is idempotent, like whenever you are just creating new data, so you will click on create. Each time it will create new product or an item or whatever you are creating. That is not idempotent. But inside, in the case of put, whenever you will click on like update. Sorry. So whenever you will click on update, in the state will be remain same. Like an operation is idempotent if making the same request multiple times has the same effect as making it once. It will not change the response. Each time the same state will be maintained. Then patch is for your partial update when you don't want to like update the entire. You just want to update the partial, like some part of the data. And delete is from remove data. Okay. Delete is for removing the data. So next we have like the inputs, like when we want to make a request. So what are the inputs we can use? Then you can use like your path params, like when we are defining the IDs inside your URL, as you can see here, get products slash ID, specify which resource you are working with, and use when required to identify the resource. Like from the products collection, I just want to get or retrieve or fetch the particular product with the ID. I'm passing the ID. Then is your query params, like when we define like multiple filters, like the first one would be start with your question mark, the first, and then after that whatever like filters, or I can say the query parameters you want, you can use the AND operator and you can add as many as that. Okay, this is your query params. And the next is request body, like whenever we are making a create request or a post request, we pass the entire JSON data, most of the time JSON data, and we just sent a request. Okay, so next we have responses. Like in responses, we have the status code and the response body. So like in a status code, like why I need status code, like it basically indicates that the whether the request has been completed or not, like what is the status of the request. Okay, so in response body, like if we are like making a get request or fetching the data or records, then we usually get the JSON response. So like get products, so we are getting the product collection or array where we'll have so many products over there. So like the codes we have basically 200 for your success, like the request is successfully completed, and 201 mostly for your creation, or sometimes we use for the success as well. 400 for your bad request, like the server is expecting something else and you are sending something else. So in that case, bad request 400 401 not authenticated. You are entering the incorrect credentials, and then 404 not found. The resource you are, or the particular thing you are, for that you are sending the request or you are looking for, is not found. 404 most common. This is you have find might be when you are trying to search for particular web page and you get the 404 page not found. The same for that particular resource you not found, so we return 404. And the 500 is whenever you get, like, sometimes you may get some internal server error or the server error. So that is basically the under the umbrella of your 500. Okay, so 200, 400 and 500 are usually enough. Yeah, these are enough for the like APIs. So yeah, here we have the GraphQL. So till here it was for your REST and HTTP. So GraphQL. So this was created by Facebook in 2012 and open source in 2015. Okay. So like as you can see here, for like if inside REST we are making these three particular endpoints or making a request to these three endpoints. But inside GraphQL, like whatever data exactly we need, we can just make a one GraphQL request and send to the server, and we make it. GraphQL basically your query language to like making a request. Inside that, like lets your client request whatever exactly the data it needs. Okay. If you want like how GraphQL works, or you want some examples, or maybe a small playlist, then drop a comment. I'll definitely create one playlist or might be a short video for you on GraphQL. Comment karna. Okay. So next we have the RPC, like remote procedural call for your intra microservice communication, and this is very efficient because inside that we use basically your protobufs binary data. Okay. So like instead of get products creating an endpoint, we create this method get products, and we are just defining the, or we can say the parameter as a product ID. Same for your create and same for your get products review. If you are not getting this, so I would say like I already have created one entire playlist on gRPC where I have explained all this stuff, like your these methods and why these services and these all, like these are your contracts in the RPC terms. So you define contracts and then you play with that contracts. Okay. So here we don't like write your endpoints. We generally call these methods whenever we want a particular data. So like we have service, and inside then we have endpoints, or we can say the methods in these terms. Get product, it will return your product, and these product order review list we have already defined here, as you can see here. Cool. So this was for your RPC, and like there might be some follow-up questions, like might be on your API design. Like when you are, and the very first is like pagination. Like when you have a large data set you are getting from the backend or the server. So in that case you have to handle the, or might be define the pagination. So for pagination, you may go with the like two ways. The very first is your like simple, where you define like your page, which page you want, and the limit is basically how many records you want on that particular page. Suppose I want page one and limit is 25. This is same, and you can change like page two, and I only need the limit is 10. You send this with your API, and you get the response from the backend with respect to this. But there is one more cursor. Okay, let me, before just moving to the cursor, okay, let's understand this scenario. Like when we are just inserting multiple records in a second. So in that case, suppose you are just sending a request for page 2 with limit 10, there is a high possibility that you are getting the same data uh, uh, because you are just inserting multiple records, and those are adding inside your page 2 as well, and the data is I can say the shifted. So in that case, you use your like the offset or the limit, page limit or the page offset. So here you define the cursor is like 1 2 3. I want the next 25 records, like your limit is 25. I want next 25 records after the ID 1 2 3. So in that case, like till this ID you have offset, you have get the records, and further records you need based on this, and hope so your data is sorted based on this ID. Same like when you are saying I need the next 10 records start from after from your ID 5 6 7. Okay. So what am I missing something? Okay, so this will return. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the sum of the key difference. So as you can see here, the key difference between your cursor and page based. Page based is simple but can have issues if new data gets inserted. Page shifts. Okay, pages shift. And cursor based is more reliable for real time feeds and no shifting pages. Basically, here you are defining I need after this 5 6 7. Okay, like where you're I would say for that 5 6 7, like for cursor you can define the ID like I need data after this order ID. Okay, or the this you could relate as a offset. Okay, so the next we have the security, and here you can use like authorized. Basically you can use your JWT or the I would say the session tokens for your like if the particular user has a role of admin, then they can just create the events, or I can say the products, and like we are talking about the products in this example. So JWT where you define like encodes user data permission directly into a signed token where we define all the claims and all those stuff. And the session is like the random token which is used to like find the information from the server side. Okay, so this was all about like your API design. So if I have missed anything inside your API design, so drop a comment. We'll cover that particular thing inside the video. But I believe that was the all in context of your API design. So I hope you enjoyed this. So if you like this video or found this video useful, so don't forget to like, subscribe, or share. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep learning, keep playing. Bye bye.